Oh,
says
you should have a bit of a logo and all that going on.
It says set intro video, and also it said we could. Oh, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you might be in the world. God, didn't I make that seem natural and genuine?
So yeah, that was
yeah, it was.
fluid.
That was fluid, wasn't it?
Body fluid.
Body. What looks like a flying motorhome? Who looks like a flying motorhome? Hello, Johnny. Hello, MTV. What looks like a flying motorhome? Maybe something did come up beforehand and I didn't know about it. But it also said we could change these name things and make them look very Gucci as well, but that didn't turn up. StreamYard is. Oh, and I see the link has got weird at the top as well. StreamYard's a funny thing. It really is a funny thing. Oh, private chat. There's a message in the private chat. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Yes, fair enough. Shall we talk about that straight away once it loads? Because I'd like to create a device for this. Well, I'll potentially.
Let me see if I can find you an archive.org link to that, and then it was just so.
Is it up today or has it been hacked again?
Paywall bypass. Let's have a look at that.
No, it's paywall bypass. Okay, well, if you.
Oh yeah, it's behind the paywall, so something might or might not show for you. So
it'll show me. It shows me the image. It shows me enough to start with. So let's share the screen. Hello, Dan. How you doing? Hello, everyone that's here. Right, here we are. Now, this before I reveal it, this is a thing that is quite rightly got Ian's goat, and unfortunately, as we know, don't get Ian's goat because the foyers have begun.
You got room for a goat in that backyard of yours.
Yeah, I've got plenty of room for a goat. So it's this here article from the Telegraph in the UK. Do you want to unpack it a little bit more for us, Ian?
Yeah, and I've just put in the paywall link if you need to scroll down as well.
Oh well, the picture will do.
Okay, I mean it might let you scroll down anyway. It depends, but yeah, there's this story. To be honest, this was in a number of publications, although I think the Telegraph was the poorest of the lot, and it's unfortunately the Telegraph's got a bit of pattern of this now. So there was this story, and it's a story that we keep hearing, and it is a distraction from the fact of all the problems in the prison service. So the prison service has had drugs flowing everywhere. Well, before drones even existed, there was literally thousands of prison staff being found to be smuggling in drugs themselves well before drones were a thing. And that has continued on. So drugs are getting in through staff, through the mailroom, thrown over the walls, brought in by visitors, you name it. So all that's going on. With the funding the way it is, it's not being tackled particularly well. Some prisons have got scanners to try and stop people walking in with the stuff, which is improving bits. So what they're saying, and there'll be some truth to it, that where they put the scanners up, they may well try drones instead. But I think the reality of it, and this has never really been addressed, is you've got a big bleeding drone flying in, lots of noise. If they're getting in and the prison staff aren't dealing with it, there's also the chance that the prison staff are involved, because it's not very difficult, to deal with the drone, to put the counter drone system up there. I think many of them have got the counter drone system. So literally what is happening is they're seeing the drone coming in, know it's dropping the drugs, and no one's even bothering to go out and grab the pilot. That's really what's going on. I just don't think there's this cooperation with the police to go out there and nab them, apart from the fact when it builds up and it's been going on a while and they go, well, we better do something now, and then we can grab some headlines at the time, which is probably what's been going on here in Manchester. But the frustrating thing with this story, apart from the fact it's not put all that context in there, which is the correct context, drones, they may be an increasing problem, but they're the minority problem. They're a distraction. They're a scapegoat for the true issues. The issue is, at the end of the day, you've got some people in there, they're in the drugs industry, they're making maybe hundreds of millions of pounds, and you've got staff on maybe 30 odd K, very easy to bribe. And as long as that's the case, you're going to have this problem anyway. But obviously, it's a good distraction for the prison service itself to distract away from its own problems and so on by finding the bogeyman which again, easy to put drones into that. But the frustrating thing is here, this has come out of a single Freedom of Information request. And again, it's not within any context because it's about sightings of drones near prisons. So it's not even how many drones have dropped drugs into prisons. It's they've been seen. Now, considering that you would have taught your staff now to look out for drones, they're going to go up anyway. There's going to be false sightings as well, where you see a light sky, think it's drone, it's not, gets logged. But also those prisons that have got the counter drone systems, they'll be logging all of those, where before they weren't able to. So in fact, to a degree, it could be argued this is some of the success of the prison service, that it's now able to report drones that it wasn't able to report before. So it's not necessarily the number of drones that were climbing the incursions. It's just the fact they've been able to record them now. And I think it's a figure of, I think it'll be on here, won't it? It'll be 1,000 and odd. But if you split that into the entire prisons of the UK and over the factor years, 365 days, it actually isn't all that much again. When you start looking at, you think actually, oh, yeah, what the numbers could be. But so the frustrating thing about this is there was a police officer from Manchester Force that is quoted in this. Now, and he's quoted in the Manchester Evening News, which is where I think the story started. And in there, he quite clearly says, in fact, we should probably, let me find out how we do it so people can see it with their own eyes. And you can just see how things are manipulated between publications and what their slant is on the story. So.
But the good thing this must be an incredible relief to prison staff, because these drones can smuggle, bowling balls. Imagine trying to do that up your backside. Oh.
The worst thing is, about these bowling balls, and one of the quotes they haven't included here was this was bringing in shampoo and tomato ketchup and that kind of things. So you go, wait a minute, some of these things you're talking about aren't even drugs. And this is all the stuff that's been taken out of the story.
Who would use tomato ketchup that had been up somebody's backside?
Steady on. Family show. Expert drone pilots, so it's no one we know then.
No, this is the funny thing as well, really. They're trying to make out that you need expertise to fly a drone. And really, we all know you don't need that much. What's really happening is they're asking for drone pilots. So what they're doing is they're looking out. And so people here, be aware, they're looking for, I think a lot of it's naive hobbyists saying, will you fly it in for us because of your skills? But what they really mean is you're going to be the patsy that's going to be going to the prison time if you get caught. So what they're doing is they're saying, we'll give you £1,000 and will you just fly the drone in? Knowing full well that if the police are, the prison service on the counter drone system are getting the police there to come out to grab you, it will be you that's grabbed, not them.
But they're
it's really
even 14-year-olds.
Yeah, well, they might well look for younger people to try and get them under the age of where you can be considered a criminal as well.
This is where I'm going wrong with SCS News. Just look at the number of adverts there are on this page.
It's too
awful.
much, isn't it? There's trouble with local papers. It's really kind of killing them off because they're putting in way too many ads. But you see here, so this is the quote, one of them here that's been just the Telegraph of just like, oh, this did happen. This. So he said drugs are coming into the prisons via corrupt jail staff, via prison visits from families of inmates, and by packets being thrown on from prison walls. So what he's saying there is actually that's where the bulk of it's coming in, but drones are now becoming an increasing problem for us to tackle. And he says this in down here a number of times. But the important thing here is as well is he says there is the technology to jam drones, but we do not use that technology specifically because it's a risk of crashing the drone, which it is. If you're pinging a drone back, it could hit a tree, lines on the way back. It could fall on somebody. And then
it's bound to fall into a school. It's going to fall into a school and it's going to be a tragedy. That's what's going to happen there,
If you're talking here, you take it to the extreme of the picture of the painting. You're saying, 7 kilogram drone, you're pinging it back, that can fall on a member of the public, and then the prison's got the liability for that. So it isn't the answer for everything. Plus, we know the fact is there would be proper organised criminals will be around that in a week, as we've seen in Ukraine. Dead simple. if you were building your own drones, you're building a 7-kilogram drone, you know how to do that. You know bloody well that you could just get a transmitter on a different bandwidth than what the jammer's working at, and you're getting through, and it isn't jamming you at all anyway. So it's very easy to get around it. I didn't mention on one of these stories that you could do autonomous missions. Again, they've forgotten to mention the fact that you could do an autonomous drone mission, in which case radio jamming's doing squat all good anyway. There's no mention of GPS jamming, but if you were GPS jamming, you're going to be fetching helicopters and other stuff. You know, you really are asking trouble doing that. But even if you're doing that, we know already there's mitigations even for GPS jamming now. So criminals, it is worth their investment. And to be honest, a lot of this stuff isn't expensive to put the countermeasures in, as we've seen in Ukraine. So they could get past it anyway. So that isn't the answer. The answer is you go out there and you nab the person that's doing it, and that's the way you stop it. And that's where it's breaking down. But what you've got going on here in the Telegraph, as you've highlighted here, is all the Telegraph, or a lot of them, Telegraph stories do a drone story, and then they say, but you could buy something from Drone Defence and that problem is solved. And that isn't the correct context, because especially in this one, the actual police officers we've seen from his quotes in the Manchester Evening News have said, we've considered jammers, we don't want them here. It's not appropriate for this prison. Yet that has been completely stripped out of this.
Yeah. So you have put in a complaint to the... Oh, have we gone offline?
Why would we go offline?
Oh, no, it's just Ian. He's used all his words up. He's used his allotment. He's putting a complaint to the Press Complaints Commission. Are you back, Ian? No, he's not.
Oh, there we are.
There we are. Here we are. You're back. You're back.
So, I'm going to say, with the jamming, it's a solution, but it's got flaws to it. So you could buy the entire system, and a week later, someone's on a different transmitter, and the whole thing is effectively been made useless.
What I was just saying to the dear ladies and gentlemen and Bruce was that you put in a complaint to the press people about this one, because
I've made a complaint because the Telegraph now have got a pattern, which I've demonstrated as well, of doing a negative drone story, but here's a product that will sort it. So you're getting into the realms of this is an advertisement. Now, if it said this is an advertorial, fine, you can do that with an advertorial, but you can't do this is a story and we're going to package it like that. It isn't fair. And what they should be doing, and I mean, for example, The Guardian did this. It got a drone company, and actually maybe I'd probably been good for me to prepare to find them, and we could have given them a hat tip. But there was a drone company that spoke up in the Guardian article, and they said, wait a minute, although there is jamming, that in itself has implications of drones crashing and so on. So they were adding that context, which is all missing here. So if I can understand a freedom of information being misused, to be fair, it is being misused a bit, because it's not even saying these are actual definite, it was landing something. It's just we've seen drones. But when you're taking that, you should be adding all this additional context that the police officer himself has provided. So I've also put in freedom of information requests to the prison service and to Manchester Force. Actually, hopefully that'll go back to that specific officer, because I feel I think actually he was being fair the way he's described things, and the press have selectively
he's been stitched up.
Yeah, so I kind of like to get him on the record a bit to that as well. So if that comes back in while the IPSO complaints come in, I can go, here's the police officer's views as well, which all strengthens it. Now, it is notoriously difficult to get a complaint through IPSO. So this may well be told, well, tough, it's the way it is. You can actually be deliberately going out to be biased and present this kind of picture and get away with it, which is it's not really very good. You can't seem to get away with that on TV. So if it was the BBC and their guidelines, it would be considered naughty. But in the newspapers, they get more flexibility. But I do think at least if I raise it whenever it happens in future, eventually just for the hassle of it, they may well think actually it's be a bit more balanced about this. Because at least if you just got another company in there as well, you just get a few views, give people a better picture. But yes, it chose not to. We covered this actually on last week.
Yeah.
Show,
I just thought I'd put it up there that you've put it in writing, you put the case number out, and to jump back to that last one, because they're talking about before we talk about this, because they're talking about sightings, i.e., not things definitely dropping drugs in. It makes me want to create a device that I can drive around in the local area and electronically create 10,000, 50,000, 1 million units, because you could really game those numbers. If we're going for the numbers from Mr. Gill's detection services, we could destroy his data quite easily. And
it won't. That data won't be his data. That'll be prison service data. But
imagine
if you knew where they had the count, say for example, you thought, well, they're likely to have the aeroscope here, you could ping out loads of drones, let them publish those numbers, and then go to the papers and go, oh well, look, these were all phantom drones, they don't know what they're doing. And that's part of the problem we see as well, because we get drones recorded, as we've seen with the airports, where it's someone just firmware flashing the thing, weren't even flying it, and it gets counted. It's like, no, wait a minute. We need to have, there needs to be context to these figures as well. It's going, we've got a detection and we're pretty convinced it's genuine as well. It said it was fine about and whatever. And although that can't be perfect, you can still spoof that. The very fact that we don't even go, make that effort in some cases is concerning.
Yeah.
It's important to make sure the data is as good quality as it can be.
Yeah, it could be bent. And good luck on this first tier tribunal case. All these numbers you see, whenever I see this and the stuff you do, it looks so grown up, and I would find it very scary to go down this path.
It's all AI.
At all. Is he AI? Oh, Ian's AI.
It's all AI.
Oh, it's in his name. It's in his
even
name.
This image.
Oh,
this is AI. Yeah, see?
Yeah. It's got an AI. He's got AI in there as well. Goodness me. Hats off to you, Ian. That's what I want to say. Hats off.
I would like to take one further up to the next tribunal level. As I would, that one with Sussex Police, I would have quite liked to have done, but with that one, it kind of doesn't matter, because I think the fact that they're willing to bullshit over aeroscope just demonstrates by itself, but people can see that, and it doesn't need any further taking on, because it just doesn't look good. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else of
let's jump onto Tommy's wing conundrum here and see what the hive mind said. He says he should make a nice a biplane out of them, Tommy. Stack them up one on top of the other. What were these called? What were these originally? They didn't used to be called that, did they? They were called something else. But I don't know. What would we do with this game? Have you?
It looks like that. Yeah.
I don't want push notifications.
You want to watch? What is it? Spectra 50. Charlie had one, and oh no.
What was that? Was it a bit too pitchy or things like that, or just a bit?
No, the trouble with big wings like that is most of the time is launching the damn things. They're so cumbersome to launch unless you got a RAM thing. You don't want something that you can just have, but those things you got to have someone else pretty much, unless you got auto launch and things, which is cheating. But I mean, even then, I'm not a big fan of big fixed wing anymore, because there's not a lot of difference between a big fixed wing and a little fixed wing. If flying FPV, it's the same experience, but a small one is just cheaper, less noticeable. You can go in tighter spaces, whereas big ones just, more money.
I don't know where he was going to go with that statement then. I don't know where that was going to end up. Don't know. Big ones are no good. I don't know where that was going to go. Yeah, I don't have any experience of these wings, and I haven't bought anything from. It must be a decade since I bought anything from Hobby King. It must.
Yeah, same here actually.
Goodness knows what it would. Oh, it says discontinued product. Did you get them cheap then, Tommy? I wonder if they were cheap. Maybe they were.
They weren't expensive.
Tommy. $134. That seems a lot of money to me. So
that was the motor and servos and everything, though. It wasn't
true.
just airframe.
So is this is the one for the huge number of huge payloads of drugs recovered?
Yeah, well, I just thought because they've made a big thing about that. Like, come on, man, let's have some numbers.
Yeah, fair enough. Absolutely fair enough.
Because
So
I
is
bet
this
when it
how-
goes back, it'll be like, oh well, we've had about 3.
Well, a 7 kilo, something that's lifting 7 kilo equivalent to a bowling ball. Yeah, I mean that's going to make a chunk of noise as it's coming in. You can't tell me that that's a silent, gentle operation arriving with a 7 kilo payload. My word,
No.
that's a chunking big thing. As I've said before, the simple solution I would employ would be with the ones that we used to have over the sewage works on the airfield, which is just fishing line strung over to stop the birds flying down into the sewage works. That'll do it. Some fishing line.
The thing
But
that
anyway.
annoyed me with this as well was there was a prison that had spent money on doing physical countermeasures, and they were that was trying to be used as a poster boy of failure. Say, well, look how much that's cost, but it's like at least that's done. That will work. That can't be compromised by new software or firmware coming out. You've done the job, so
Yeah.
I'd
Bloody
actually
great big
say
net.
fair play to you. You've actually dealt with the problem, not just now, but until the end of time. You know,
15 kilograms
Yeah.
of drugs. Is it 15 pounds of drugs? Are the bars far enough apart on a prison window to get that through? If it was dangling outside, I think it'd be too close. You can
Well,
squeeze it
was
that's
through.
why you need a skill pilot, because you've got to be able to fly
Oh,
and turn
knife
like in
edge.
Star Wars. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know the whole Star Wars thing. They
Mm.
probably have.
What they said here was that I'll tell you about one in a minute because it is particularly funny. But for one, but the trouble with these, when they cite these things, often these are like one-off single instances made out as though they were never.
Oh,
I mean, it was they got the element out of a kettle, and they put what they had at this particular prison, rather than the bars there, it was perspex, not perspex. Yeah. No, what's the one that's tougher than that? I think it's
Polycarbonate.
polycarbonate. That's it. Yeah. So they put it against that, melted it, and then the drone was able to fly through.
no, no, a
Oh,
kettle element. Oh, come
Oh
on.
yeah, but maybe they got
They used it like a knife.
drawn a bigger square out of it. So
Yeah.
obviously, what we can only guess.
Hot.
Yeah. Laser
So-
treated for 3rd-degree burns.
Yeah, but that was basically said. But the really funny one was they said what they're doing at this prison is they're disguising the packages as grass, dropping it onto the field, and the officers can't find it because it looks like grass, but all the prisoners can find it. So I'm saying, so what you're saying is the prisoners have got better eyesight.
All I can do is write, please ignore on the package.
Yeah. The way I liked heard a bit about was firing cell phones over on a tape to arrows. I thought that was quite clever.
Dude,
Well,
there
Trip
was
is
no
still
end.
having use.
someone where they put drugs in dead pigeons and thrown them over as well. You know, there's multiple things. going
Well,
on.
it might do for the pigeon if he fell in full of drugs. I reckon it might do for them.
And pigeons aren't as big as prison officers. There's not as much room.
God, yes, well, quite. Yeah, no, I think it's poor show, isn't it? Really. Oh, hello. What's this? An AliExpress item. What are we going to be putting up next?
It's the answer to the prison's problem. Look, stacks of them. They're cheap. Drone countermeasures.
What? Wow.
Drone
They are
blocking
cheap.
device.
910 watts, 910 rand. I bet that's a single board.
Yeah.
Does it show us the electronics? Yeah, it does. There we are.
Yeah. Look at them.
Yeah.
Find them. They must be selling a fortunes with them into Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah, yeah, they must. They must absolutely. You would buy one to send to your loved one, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Put
Just
in his backpack.
Yeah, just for in case. I don't know. Yeah, it's amazing what you can buy on that.
Yeah,
I've
full
never
range,
bought
of, full
from
range of
Alex.
frequencies available. You can choose your frequency
Yeah.
band. It's massive.
Yeah, what's it? 1.2 gigs or all the way 650 megs. So it's 400. So 400 is the lowest, is it? Yeah, 400. Some very popular bands in there. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That is just amazing.
If they
What
send you
else?
one between now and Christmas,
You,
I'll try it out.
you review it because
I'll
you
use
are the
it, I'll
shill.
use it.
Yes, I don't know if you're calling for stuff to shill, which
Oh,
is
Cliff,
very
how
funny.
dare you call me a shill?
Yeah. Why have I got that shill on the show? Exactly.
Hmm.
I think I've just gone and closed a load of Windows stories that I wanted to talk
no.
about. What a clown! You've distracted me with all these windows, you devils. All right, let's see if I can open them up again. Let's stop sharing this one. Please talk amongst yourselves while I look at my history to see what else I was
going,
going
mate? Had a good day?
to. What else was I going to? Oh, yeah, there was this. Because as you'll have noticed in my post, but let me open this. Yeah, this one was also. This one's fun. Let's have that in a new tab, and you can watch this whilst I find the other one. This is, I thought it was quite funny. It's what the devs have been up to after the concert, after the
Hi. Hello. How was it? Konnichiwa.
Which conference was this?
This RG Pilot conference in Japan.
Oh, geez.
There's Tridge.
Oh, I'm glad I use iNav.
Akihabara.
Yeah, imagine having anything to do with that lot.
Yes,
Because
no wonder there are
so
so many parameters.
yeah, exactly. Share screen. Oh, it's all going so well because the next one is going to be held near Ian. It's going to be held in Yorkshire next September, and I think that's going to be a pretty exciting event. And I certainly hope to be there. And we will do something. Philip has already suggested we have some sort of fireside.
South Africa must have a very
event.
porous border.
Poor sod off.
The thing that gets me was I thought, oh, it's Yorkshire. It's nice and local to me. Then I looked up because they're based. Is 3DXR's headquarters will be thereabouts where it will be. Now they're in Richmond. Now I've never been to Richmond, so I had it in my head that it was just a bit further up than York, but it's actually quite a lot. And then it's like you can't get a train directly there, so you've got to actually go up past Richmond and back down to Richmond. So it turns out, sod's law, the train journey is 2 hours. So in fact, it takes me just slightly less time than getting to London to get to there, despite the fact it is.
It takes a bloody northerner to complain. It'll take me 2 days to get there. And
No,
Bruce would take a couple of
Gary's-
days. Yeah.
Gary's got his travel arrangements sorted out. He's flying to Calais, getting a rubber boat across the channel, and then he's getting free accommodation and transport and a phone.
That's right. Yeah.
You do it that way, you can get free train tickets as well.
Yeah, it'll be great. Now, what's Cliff here saying is nothing about Space 1999, so I can read it. This is something you mentioned. It shifted to walks now. Oh, I don't know anything about all those new systems. Have any?
That's
Oh,
Johnny
Bruce,
Hope.
you've got a new flying field
Got it.
to fly your shilling stuff.
It's a new grassy field. It doesn't like
Yes.
I can't mow a runway because it's a operational farm, but it means I can fly wings and stuff, and it is actually well within the 4 kilometre boundary of the airfield. But between me and the airfield, there's quite a big hill. So anyone on approach
shielded
would have to be
operation.
higher than the hill. Well, it's not a shielded operation because the hill's more than 100 meters away from me. So technically, it's infringing the regulations, and technically, I'd have to get permission from the council. But I'm going to fly there, and if anyone complains, I'd love to hear their argument as to why it's not safe for me to do so.
Well, it's quite easy. It's you, isn't it? I mean, that's not.
Yeah, 'cause the other thing is, I can't fly my 25-gram Mobula 6 around my house FPV without a visual observer because, according to the official line, someone could come onto my property and they could be endangered, right? Yet I checked and I can legally drink a bottle of whiskey and do wheelies in my truck around there on the front lawn, and that's quite legal. So how the hell does this work?
Yeah. Bad luck, Johnny. I'm reading it in the comments that you built and you lost. So sorry about that. I hope that comes back soon.
Oh, how did you lost it? How did he lost it?
Switched my
Have you
built an
check down the
quad
back
and already
of the
lost it.
sofa?
Yeah,
Always look down the
it's
back of the
always
sofa.
good. It's always good to check down the back of the sofa, isn't it? Let's present another thing. All this presenting thing is going really, really well tonight. I'm really on top of this. This was interesting. H3 Dynamics, this flipping hydrogen thing. And it's, I think
Okay,
it's me and this. Go on,
A
mate.
moment before we jump onto this, just going back for 1 second to the RG Pilot thing being in Yorkshire, it's probably just
Yes.
worth mentioning for people on here that, because I think it's basically this is open for commercial operators in the UK to come up to at the time and actually see what RG Pilot developers are up to, so they can learn about it, which I thought was a good opportunity, because in the UK we're very DJI heavy. There's a lot, there's a lot of commercial operators that have never had any experience outside DJI, and given the, I think it's worth knowing about anyway, and seeing what else is available. Understanding stuff like the fact that you could do your own scripts to create your own flight modes and stuff. But also the fact that if the DJI ban we've seen in the US, if that gets more traction, and we're to have stuff here, we've already got like some of the RAF airfields saying, well, you can't have permission to be in the FRZ unless it's non-DJI. That'll be worth people taking the time coming up. And as you mentioned, Philip's already said something along the lines as well. It'd be okay with some kind of fireside chat so that people can sort of meet up, bit of networking, but also getting a few things off the chest and talking about things that if it was any other kind of conference down near London, it just wouldn't, it just wouldn't be happening, because it'd be, you can't talk about things like that. Well, here you'll be free to sort of give views, share ideas, that kind of thing.
Isn't it a bit of a worry though? They've been working on RG Pilot for years now, and they're still not done.
Yeah,
They'll never finish. They'll never finish. Well, actually, I'm going to change the change where I was going for a second, because one of the things that they unveiled this one is if you've got an underslung load, they've put a GPS. They're clever. The main problem with the conference to me is I don't understand 99% of what
I
people
recognise
say.
that pod.
Well, they've beaten. So Zipline's got the pod. That's what's flicking around here that drops down and then positions itself with a motor to get rid of all that underslung load jigginess. Well, the RG Pilot devs have made a way of doing it. As long as you've got to have a GPS in the load, and that's talking to the multi-rotor up above, and the multi-rotor sorts out the oscillations and stops them happening before it drops the load. So they've beaten, in the open source world, have beaten Zipline to a solution for underslung loads, which I know is not important for everybody, etc., etc. But
that pod,
with RG Pilot, it does matter, because one of the use cases with that is about doing medical deliveries and that, and it's very much used in more like maybe your third world and stuff, where getting vehicles about isn't an option, so that a drone becomes a lot more practical, and obviously weather might not be as naff as it is here. But I'm interested, did they do that off their own back, or has anyone sponsored that?
It's Japan Drone, I think, needed it. It was a requirement because they're doing the underslung deliveries. And who's Randy? Randy. I don't know. I don't know. And mushrooms and mushrooms.
If I saw that pod coming down from the sky, I'd want to grab a kitten and put it in, because it looks like it would fit in there. It looks like just a thing,
But look at the difference in the complexity level between that and getting the machine up top to sort it out. So that was one of the things I saw.
The more you have to go wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. I've never. I mean, it's clever, but I've never thought that is a top
Another
solution.
set of batteries to charge.
Exactly. Yeah, many things else.
I've got me thinking though, Bruce, with saying that comment. It will be a matter of time before it becomes a TikTok trend when we get delivery drones. For somebody to go, quick, let's stick something in the tray before it goes back up as a prank.
It happened. It happened. It happened in one of those rolling ones. I saw it 2 days ago. What did they put back in it? I can't remember. One of the Starship, is it? one of those ones that are in Milton Keynes and Northampton.
Oh yeah.
all around. And when they opened it up and they put something back in when it drove off, I can't remember what it was, but it was something. It wasn't a kitten, but it was something along. Well, you can imagine what people might fill them up with.
Yes.
But anyway, you can imagine. Now, this H3 Dynamics was very interesting. The probably the actual person would need the same sensors on board as the autopilot. Yeah, you're probably right, John. But the guy there's just so clever. Now, H3 Dynamics, the hydrogen. I can't stand the idea of hydrogen things because I'm a naff. But look what they did. Non-compliance with an operation. They hit a building, basically. And then, so unauthorized mods and unlicensed pilot. So, funny enough, the Singaporean civil aviation authorities pulled their license to operate. But I thought that was very interesting. And we're going to get a lot of this. We're going to get a lot of big things flying into buildings and trials and all that sort of thing with people trying to...
Did you see that TV network, their drone crashed and hurt some people? Was it CNN or someone in the US?
I didn't see that one.
Doing filming? Yes, apparently it did. It was a big drone and it fell into on top of a couple of people. They got injuries, had to go off to hospital. And it leaves me wondering, given the quality of video you get from some of these small sub-250s now, even for broadcast, surely it makes more sense to use something like that than a massive, great bloody, octocopter with a red camera on it, because you just can't mitigate away the risks of that thing crashing.
Yeah, the trouble is, you'll have some producer that's been anal about the quality and going, oh, well, they're better in low light and blah, 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 instead of thinking about the whole context of it and thinking it really doesn't matter. The safety is more important. And again, that you'd be saying, well, why haven't you got it on when it's on? When they have the cameras that go across on the wires, like in the football games and whatnot. Yeah. I think it's a Boston Celtics game because I remember seeing
something like that. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, most people are watching it on their phone anyway, so who gives a damn?
Yeah. Very, very, very valid point in the modern world. Very valid point. Oh, I still got my name on this. Shouldn't have that, but if you're in the UK, Grey Arrows, exclusive discount for first responders and veterans. So, funny enough, eligibility criteria. This one here, I happen to have.
I must qualify cards. You see on YouTube all those comments that say first. That's always me. I'm the first to respond.
Gary, you didn't realise holding that up to camera, someone's already scanned that and made a copy.
Well, it's a bus pass.
I'll do it later.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, all right. Hang on. You can have my my shopping card as well. There.
Ooh, all those points, eh?
The Spa Rewards card. I tell you, I live the high life. Me. Discount coupons everywhere. Although ours are worse than in the UK. You scan them and you get bugger all for it, apart from lots of precise adverts. There are very, very few offers. But anyway, the Grey Arrows have got this. If you're in the UK and you're a veteran or a first responder holding a blue light card, then they will give you a discount. So good on them. That's good for them. And I think that's all the stories I had for tonight. We got through those rather quickly. That's it. That's the stories I had. I think. Did I have any more hiding down here? Oh no, I did. Oh, this is where I hid the tab where everything was. Oh dear. Right, let's have these.
Oh, you mean this is going to drag on more? Oh dear.
It's going to drag on more. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, get rid of that one, and that one. I actually, again, with this, I noticed that they have all sorts of keys and things like that to tap and things happen, which I'd never noticed before. This ELIA system, been talking about this for years, and finally DARPA and Sikorsky are going to start using it full time.
But see, Elon Musk is going to take that market with Optimus. Optimus will be sitting in that seat, flying that helicopter. You don't need his fancy stuff; just that robot will do the lot. Then there'll be a man some far away with gloves flying the helicopter.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there you go. I'm glad you got there. Oh, what a crock that was, wasn't it? How anybody can? That was dreadful. Absolutely dreadful.
But I still think if anyone can get man on Mars by 2022, it's Elon. I'm still backing him on that. I reckon he'll get us there by 2022.
Yeah. I don't know. Cliff talking about the the high accident rate Canadian
Yeah.
police force. They haven't had an accident for a while now.
I think they've been grounded.
They probably have.
But there was
The other
another
thing I
mid-air
was-
collision, manned aircraft in Australia this week.
Terrible
died,
one,
3
wasn't
people
it?
died, I
Some
think.
quite
Yeah, I mean, my God.
quite experienced, very experienced guys as well.
Yeah, but of course, it only takes one inexperienced in another airplane, and your experience counts for nothing.
Absolutely. These motors and ancillary bits do appear to be made in India, which is very interesting.
Out
Are
of
you
old
still
bicycle
there?
wheels, then, eh? Have you seen those?
Yeah.
I'm still here. You still there? Have you seen
Yeah,
those videos on YouTube where they take old car parts and then they weld them up and grind them down and they recondition stuff with files and hacksaws, and it's amazing what they can do with the rudimentary tools they have.
The naming conventions are quite interesting. I thought, look, up here, Velken rim. There's your rims.
Bicycle wheel.
That's the wheels. That sort of has a German feel to it, whereas the Hummingbird logo has a Chinese feel to it. So it looks like they're trying to, that's a sort of Chinese, but it's
and they've
supposed to be
mungled
Indian.
them together and got Hemming 1536.
Exactly.
That sounds like a blood disease.
It does, doesn't it? So it's interesting. The rise of parts coming out of India.
Will they be
now
on the blue list?
They have the potential to be, yes, to be NDAA. Yeah, they do.
Where does the neodymium
the
come from,
updated
though?
one? Oh well.
Does it matter where the source material comes from? They could put little chips in the metal. You know, the Chinese are very clever, very inscrutable, got tiny hands.
Tony, only come up to your knees. I bet that's not on YouTube. I bet that is not on.
Gary, whenever I try and do a post in the comments, it never ever lets me. So if I post this in the private chat, can you bang it into the chat for people to look at? There's this. It's to follow Alan McKenna on Twitter because he's a good bloke. He's been supportive about the Gatwick Malarkey. But he's following the numbers. It's a little bit sad and it's a little bit unfair. So I'd like to cheer up his day by getting him a few more followers on Twitter. He's been on the BBC and whatnot. He's talked about drones.
Never mind.
He's got an understanding and he's been supportive, and that's always a good thing.
But isn't it called X now? And isn't it clever
Yes.
how Elon's doing that star jump to advertise X everywhere? That's very clever of him.
Oh, I didn't realise that we're doing until you mentioned it.
He's making X's.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing. What a prat. Anyway, what a complete prat. Where was I going to go? Oh, I know where I was going to go. I was going to go, unless you guys want to go somewhere. This thing, which I started to do some. I flew a little bit, and
It's only got one arm.
It's got one. Yeah, that's right. It just goes round and round.
So
What I wanted to do, I wanted to demonstrate is how these propellers come on and off, which I'll make a video of all this. But look, see on spring in there, and these little tabs on the side. So you got two little tabs in the spring, and it goes into here. I see this being absolutely foolproof and a million hours of operation for this system. I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
You expect to get 1 million hours out of that? I don't think so.
Oh yeah, million
I think
hours.
it's designed to last the life of the craft.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, the useful life of the craft.
The antennas are plainly hidden in these feet that fold out, and when you get the thing above you, straight above you, it just drops out. You can be 10 meters above your head, and the signal drops out. You're in a null zone, yeah, and it drops out in where you'd least expect it. You know, you'd think signal dropping out close would be all right, but it's right there, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's it's a little bit better at distance. No, I haven't already broken it yet. I've got a bit more video in the can, as the professionals would say.
But tell us about the compass, Gary. Is it
southern
hemisphere compass?
It's not. It's 180 degrees out, and there's nothing I can do to make so that's a little bit disconcerting. And I think that's probably got a little bit to do why it's very sloppy and yaw when
So
it
it's
flies
not
around.
so much toilet bowling as urinaling.
Probably, and when it goes around, it doesn't yaw around a turn like this. It does it like it's a skid steer robot. It goes round on the
Like a hovercraft.
like a little in the little corner. It just gets to the other side of the world exactly, Cliff. But I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't have had a problem with much of this. Oh, another little thing it doesn't do on the. Well, I'll finish the first bit first. Is that this is $500, so that makes me have a bit more of a problem with these things, like the cheap propellers, compass not right way, and it doesn't leave a trail on the map on the app when you're flying along. So you've only got a home line. That's all you've got on it, and I can see people getting into trouble with that. But I don't know. I'm not up to date with the price of the small DJI things, but I think they're less than this, and they're
You're just a
solid.
hardcore shill, aren't you?
Yeah.
Just overlooking the bad issues and focusing on the positive.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah.
Let me send you some of my competitors' products here.
The batteries don't properly lock in, so you can think, that's going to go.
Following the GoPro Karma then.
And
the M300, which was the one that had the batteries fall out.
Karma. And John is saying altitude hold. If that's another thing I've demonstrated in the video, if you whack it around, you bring the thing down, which a lot of them do anyway. But it'll start descending all by itself, or climbing, up or down, whichever way you want to go. And if you bring it down into ground effects, it just doesn't. It's all over the place. It's really hard to control close to the ground. You've got to be positive with your landing from a great height and just keep coming down.
Disarm.
You can't. Yeah. I think the prop saving release mechanism will help save the props. But yeah.
So marks out of 10, a C+.
I would love to be able to put some different firmware on here and see if that made any difference. I'd love to be able to put RG on here and use what's that one? Q ground control, and make it do stuff. I'm gonna, and it's I suppose it's all Phillips screwdriver, big obvious screws in it. That's a bit of a clue, isn't it? So I'll take it apart and have a see what the flight controller looks like. But if I could try some other firmware on it, I think I'd be a little bit happier.
So you just need if it was new propeller,
new firm,
new compass,
yeah. And the camera's not up to much either, and you can't stop it.
Yeah.
You
new
can't
antennas.
stop it. New antennas. You can't stop it recording to your smartphone. There's no opt out of that, so it records on the card and on the smartphone. And when you take a still image, it takes forever because it's transmitting it to your phone. So you can't use it for mapping or anything because you can't take continuous shots. Turtle mode and drop. No, definitely no turtle mode. And this little controller is quite good. But what we need in this as well is we need the battery to last more than the 2 flight batteries that come supplied. It just disappears. You watch it. You can watch the power going down as you're flying.
And there's this faint gurgling noise.
Yeah, it's but it's so. 10 years ago we'd have been astounded for $500. But not now. It's got all the sensors, it's got all the stuff allegedly, and apparently it's got follow me modes and stuff like that. But yeah.
It'll only follow you if you happen to be walking where it was going to go anyway. That's generally how those follow mode works on the cheap ones.
Yeah. I'll pull my head in, Cliff. You're right.
He's the anti-shill. He is the anti-shill.
Well, but it's such a shame. With a little bit of work, it could be very nice. And if it was $200, that would also help.
But you got to wonder. You got to wonder though, because when manufacturers make a product that obviously doesn't perform up to par, and then they send it out to people on YouTube and say, "Here, review this," do they actually think this guy will just take a free product and say good things about it? Or do they actually expect an objective review? I think they must pick people they think are shills. Gary, this is not a good look.
Well,
me, pick
I
me.
said to, I said to him, what I said was, I said, I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to, and they haven't asked me to, they haven't said say anything or do anything, to be fair to them.
Yeah.
So, and I will email them and say, if we can change the firmware, I'm happy to work on trying to make this fly better with you. So I can tell you why, and you just keep thinking of somebody that's their first drone. They'll keep it here, won't they? They'll keep it low, and it's all over the place when it's like that. It needs to be 20 meters
drone,
up.
How high will it go? How far will it go? And have you seen my drone? Those are the 3 questions they ask.
Oh, yeah. True enough. Well, if they take it up to like 30, 40 meters above the head, they'll lose connection with it.
So that question's easily answered, isn't it?
Yeah, but dear old claimed 5 kilometer range. I don't think I've had more than about 200.
If they got it on the blue list, they'd sell heaps. Just have to get it on the blue list.
It is. It's blue.
It is blue.
It's already there. It's blue.
There you go.
Job done.
Yep.
Now I will make a better video, another video on it. And if we can put some firmware in it, then that would be fantastic. Another company wants to send me one, but maybe they won't.
Maybe there's a cube in there.
Maybe.
Gold cube, probably gold cube.
Gold indeed. Let's see. Ian sent me some more links.
I sent you one, but that.
Was that you sent it?
I sent that one. Watch that in your leisure time, and marvel that it's still on YouTube. That it could be on you. They obviously haven't seen it on YouTube. It is a really good one. New Zealand Kiwi humor, and my goodness, it just sails so close to the wind.
Does it roll? It goes. No, where's the video? It's not a video. It's just a post.
It's a post.
What the hell's going on?
Yeah, I know. Oh, the other link. I've watched this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you've seen it. Yeah. Oh, yes. It's good, eh? Refreshing. In a day of wokeism.
This is actually how I model my teaching.
Is that how your school works?
Exactly. Yeah. This is how. Yeah, it is for me. It's great. You should watch this if you get a chance.
That sort of sets the tone, really, doesn't it?
That's the start of my day. That's exactly how my days start.
Difficult, but I will deal to the ringleaders. Ha! But you've made
such. I won't keep playing it, but that's that is
people need to go and watch it.
You go and watch that. 7 periods with Mr. Gormley. Gormsby. Let's put that in the comments as well.
They could never broadcast that on television today. It was a TV series.
No, and that, of course, was the much better. The other helicopter was rubbish. That
Blue
was
Thunder.
The actual one.
Yeah.
Blue. Yeah, that
was the other one.
Yeah, so this was this is obviously back in the day. There was Blue Thunder, which I watched recently. Still stands up the test of time. But that's where the movie company managed to get away with putting a load of timber onto an existing helicopter to make it look all with it, and then got to fly it around, which is pretty cool. So the big question was one about how much you could do with that these days, because Christopher Nolan likes to do stuff practical, genuine. So it kind of makes me wonder if they'll do some sort of existing helicopter. But these days you can put actual visual markers on it, and then in post the CG could actually bolt the stuff on top. So that might be a way you could get around it. So, but it'll be interesting. Obviously, they might do large RC models. That's still an option even this day and age.
Especially that you don't have the little trail of smoke like you used to have when the original series screened, because of the glow motors left a little smoky trail. Now it's electric, so it looks really impressive.
They retrofitted that at Westlands, the original one in Yeovil, and we actually saw it before they released
How much
it on the TV.
red tape would there have been to get that signed off? How much paperwork would have had to go on with the CAA to?
I bet they just did it. I bet there was that much paperwork with the CAA back then. But they just bolted it on, but they did it at Westlands. I remember seeing it before it was on TV.
On there. At the end, it said little bit of CG like Top Gun. I thought that's not a good comparison, because there was actually quite a bit of the cockpit scenes. I think they did a lot of stuff, genuine camera, but outside of that, there was quite a bit of blatant CG in that. So I don't think they've used that as a good example. Actually, going back to the original Blue Thunder's a good example of you doing stuff where it isn't CG.
That's what I want.
Yeah,
It's about the same time as that.
If you have any younger viewers, which I don't know, they might all be old people like us. But if
They're
not,
all younger than me.
it is worth them searching out. Blue Thunder, give it a watch and enjoy it.
Back 40 years ago, nearly 50 years ago, when did Blue Thunder come out? Let's have a look. Certainly
Back in the
40 years
day.
ago. Yeah, very much back in the day. 1983. There we go. 1983.
Surprised they didn't use an ornithopter. Yeah.
Yeah, it does see. There was very little CG and parts on Cliff. It's always that Cliff bloke. He's from some nation down in the south that's just full of troublemakers.
The West Isle of
That's his-
Australia, I gather.
The West Isle.
East Isle.
East
East
Isle.
Isle. East Isle of
East Isle.
Australia.
Yeah, so Australia.
looking
I
from
thought
above.
Australia was the West Isle of New Zealand.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
what I thought.
Yeah.
But you can walk between the two when the tide's out, can't you? So
Yeah, but only if it's a spring tide.
the
Or what
spring
is it, neap tide or something? Forget the really low one.
The low one. The low one. So what else have we seen this week before we go? I can't think of.
Absolutely nothing at 3 minutes 40 to go.
Oh yeah, that's very long to be trying to eke it out, isn't it? No, it's
I've just done the
Let me
old
tell you-
checking for airports because you know what it's like. If we don't do that, we either go off air and then there's something kicking off. But no, nothing going on there. It's all very average.
Let me tell you about all the good things I did this week.
yes. There we are. That's that over then. Yeah. And yeah,
And
well,
don't
I'm
forget,
glad
send me your products. Send me your products. I know. With
Do you
the
think-
12 viewers you've got and the 15 I have, who knows?
Yes, exactly. Do you think you'll get any of the people from the flying field coming out to fly with you with the farmer, or
Probably not, because the grass is very long and they all like taking off on runways and things. So it's just going to be wings and stuff and FPV. I've got my original an AXN, a new inbox AXN, which I've been saving for this. I'm going to build it with all the latest gear, Naze 32 board, that sort of stuff. And I'm going to resurrect the AXN and see what I can get out of it. Lithium-ion batteries, a little flight controller, FPV, digital FPV, and just see how much fun I can have with that. What is it? Must be now a 15-year-old design.
yeah. And MTV talking about the Holybro Kakut H743. Those do look nice. Those boards do look nice. The gear is out there, isn't it? Now it's quite extraordinary.
Yeah.
What's available. And yeah, I'm very sorry that you lost your thing there, Johnny. That's
How did it happen, Johnny? Tell us how it happened. Did you lose video or RF, or did someone steal your drone? What happened? I mean, inquiring minds need to know.
inquiring minds. You do need to know. Yeah, we do need to know. It seems that I don't think. I
Cliff,
think
I'll beat
all.
you, mate. I've already got one of those. I've got my Blackout Mini H with an Naze 32 board and analog. It's running clean flight, I think, not base flight, because I couldn't find a base flight configurator.
I think all of us between us have hacked off all the manufacturers of boards. It would be nice to send lost video, Bruce. But
Oh,
couldn't
man,
you
that
just
sucks.
flick the switch to RTL or something there?
No, not on a freestyle drone.
Oh, was it freestyle?
Probably
okay.
freestyle. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a shame. No, sorry about that.
Mm.
We'll have to see. Get Ian to look in his other Ian to look in his parts bin. I'm sure he's got a million other things, boards and stuff that are modern, not like these. Right. With now, yes, if that worked very well, we've really got to hang around for 55 seconds now.
Well, Bruce can tell you about how people keep trying to fish his YouTube account.
Yeah. I get all these Canon and all these major brands. Strangely enough, they've all got email addresses in Slovakia or Poland, but they're contacting me to enter into a collaboration.
Excellent.
I'll borrow my YouTube channel to put crypto scams up.
God. Well, you are the shill. You are the shill. I'm looking forward to
I am
seeing
the
whatever
super
you
shill,
shill,
yeah.
whatever lands.
Me too. Yep.
Shiltember sounded better than Shilvember or whatever as you said. But anyway,
Yeah,
on that note,
it'll do.
it'll do. It'll do. Dear viewers, wherever you are in the world, look after yourselves. Let's all get ready for Yorkshire. I think we'll do something big there, and hopefully
Pudding.
get everybody there. Yeah, Yorkshire pudding. We'll see you again next week. 2100 gin and tonic.
Quick, press it now.
Cheers
press it now,
all.
press it
Take
now.
care.